What's up, guys? How's it going? Your favorite commissioner coming at you, pre-recorded one more time. Another time, I should say, not one more time, because we have one more week left in the season. But to do a recap on week, 16? So the semifinals, if you will. I'm doing a recap on that. So everybody played this week, so it'll be a little bit longer recap, but we won't spend too much time on the matchups that really didn't have any implications. Actually, there's really only one that truly didn't have any implications. But yeah, so we're going to dive into that and just kind of talk about a little bit of the things that are setting up for this next upcoming week. So we're going to start first off and get the toilet bowl stuff out of the way. First matchup we had was between Corey and Nick. And to no one's surprise, Corey lost. Corey got his 11th loss of the year. No, sorry. That was just how he finished in the regular year. So it'd be his 12th loss, I believe. 12th loss of the year. Nick wins 117 to 87. Matchup super quick. Nick had Aaron Rodgers get him 20 points. Devontae Adams get him 33 points. Nick Chubb get him 27 points. And his defense get him negative points. Should have just not started defense. He would have done better. On the other hand, as is with pretty much every week in Corey's team, nobody worth mentioning. Like we always say, or as I always say, 20 points worth mentioning. If somebody on his team would have gotten 20 points, it would have made up basically a quarter of the total points he scored. So Corey moves on to the battle for the plate, and he faces the loser of Perk versus Flounder. And again, to no one's surprise, actually I shouldn't say that because, Perk was in the mix this year, but for the most part, his team was dog shit. But he managed to sneak out a win this week. Beats me 145 to 99. I had Josh Allen get me 31 points, and that was it. Basically, a third of my points right there. All my other guys did pretty much absolutely nothing. Perk, on the other hand, like I said, he had 145 points, so he had David Montgomery get him 24 points, Dalton Schultz get him 22 points, Debo get him 28 points, a bunch of other players get him a lot of points. So, so congratulations to Nick and Perk. You guys are basically out of the clear. You're in the clear. You play each other. Do you play each other this week? Yeah, you do. So there's still technically a battle for places. So like 7th and 8th place. That truly hasn't been decided yet. So you guys face off for that. And, not saying you got to go out there and spend a bunch of fab money on players, but we do keep a running total of your average finishes and points and whatever. So you guys have been in the league the whole entire time, all 10 years. So it probably won't make a big difference. But hey, might help your average a little bit. Corey and I, on the other hand, battling for the plate, battling for 9th and 10th place. The loser of that gets the plate from Mitch. Mitch will coordinate with the loser to get that license plate on the back of their vehicle ASAP. Remember, that was voted on and agreed on. So if somebody in particular would happen to lose, they have to put it on the back of their vehicular device. The other matchup that really didn't mean anything was Nate versus Brandon. They were battling for 5th and 6th place. Nate wins 114 to 97. Nate had Kyler Murray with 22 points. Something called T. Higgins with 43 points. Pretty good when your flex player gets, what is that? A third-ish of your points. He also had his 2 running backs combined for 2 points, so there's that. Brandon, on the other hand, he had 31 points out of Antonio Brown, and that was it. So those guys are done for the year. Nate and Brandon, you guys do not have a matchup this week. Your points have already been decided, or your place has already been decided. At the end of the year, when I total up all the points and do all that, it still takes into account weeks that you don't play. So, it will take into account these weeks. So, if you want to, I would at least try to start a full roster. But again, that's up to you. Doesn't really mean anything other than your, historic stats. Moving on to matchups that actually matter. We have the first one being Matt versus Mitch. And talk about a matchup that really wasn't one. Matt destroys Mitch 176 to 117. Matt outkicked his projection by 50 points, which is 48 points, but it's still pretty good. Patty Mahomes, 22 points. Justin Jefferson, 20 points. Amari Cooper, 22 points. Hold on. Sorry. Drawing a blank. Justin Jackson. Yep, that's what I thought. Justin Jackson, 34 points. Damian Harris, 28 points. Literally all of his players scored double digits except his tight end who got 2 points. So 176. Definitely a respectable week out of Matt. He moved on to the championship. Mitch loses and goes into the third place matchup. He had Joe Burrow get him 38 points. I believe that was T. Higgins' quarterback for Nate. He also had Chase Edmonds get him 27 points. Yeah. And so let's see who's facing those boys. So facing Matt in the championship round is, to no one's surprise again, Ben. Ben has just been on an absolute tear and won again this week, 178 to 163. So, I mean, both Ben and Matt this week put up over 175 points. So it should be a fun championship matchup. And, Mike, I have to say, I mean, losing with 163 points, I would guess that's the highest losing score of the year. And I think you might have had it going into this week, the highest losing score. I think you had like 149 or something like that. But anyways, Ben just been on an absolute streak after he lost his first 4 or 5 games to move on to the championship. So congratulations to Ben. Not only did he make the championship on the first year, but he did it inheriting Don's team, which I guess he didn't really inherit Don's team because he didn't keep any of Don's players, to no one's surprise. Ben, he had 21.5 points out of Stephon Diggs, 20 points out of Jamar Chase. He had 27 points out of Mark Andrews. He had 25 points out of Jalen Waddle. 27 points out of Dallas's defense. His lowest point getter was some gay guy, his kicker, which is pretty good. All double-digit points. Mike, on the other hand, like I said, 163 points. Hell of a week, but not enough against the almighty Ben. 31 points out of Dak Prescott. 21 points out of Cooper Kupp. 32 points out of Joe Mixon. 20 points out of... Oh, shit, I'm sorry. Brandon had A.J. Brown, not Antonio Brown. Just caught that. Mike had Antonio Brown, who also got 20 points. And then Miami's defense, 28 points. Battle the defenses there, 27 and 28 points for those defenses. So, Mike faces Mitch for third place. Third place, you guys are battling for $87. So, not life-changing money, but definitely worth trying to get that third place finish. And Ben and Matt, first place this year gets paid $522. So, good luck to both of you. I mean, hell, even second place still gets $261, which is, I mean, it should be more than enough to cover your entry fee, your transactions, your weekly low scores if you had them. Yeah, and we have to say this, Matt is the reigning champion, and Matt is in the championship. There is $120 on the line if Matt wins. Well, I shouldn't say it's on the line regardless, but if Matt wins, he wins an extra $120 that we have been stowing away for the last 3 years. Every year we chip in $40 into the Empire Championship pool, whatever you want to call it, and that goes until somebody wins it. So, if Matt wins it this year, it resets. Well, if we decide to do it, which, I mean, it has to get voted out, but if we would decide to keep doing it next year, we would chip in $40 of our entry fees and whatever would go to that. It would restart at 40, and Matt would be, again, the reigning champ. Let me see here.